Krishna devotees, welcome all of you to today's morning hearing session. We start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
And placed above the altar. And here's what the carving says. It's a writing by Raghunath Das Goswami, taken from Danakeli Chintamani. Adadanas Tranadam Tire, Idam Yache Punak Punak, Srimad Rupa Padamboja Radhoham, Syam Bhave Bhave. Meaning, taking a blade of grass between my teeth, I repeatedly beg that birth after birth I may obtain the dust of Srila Rupa Goswami's lotus feet. He was looked up to by all, including Raghunath Das, who is a most exalted Vaishnava himself. He is the leader, the exemplary personality for the stage of spiritual perfection, Prayojana. And he's looking up to Rupa Goswami. Some of you have been on parikramas with Dinabandhu, and you can count on him reciting this verse. He loves this verse because he loves Rupa Goswami, who loved Vrindavan and loved Terkadamba, especially if you go to Terkadamba. But even if you don't, he'll say it. There's a second version. Another one of his books is his Mukta Charitam. It has the same beginning, but the ending is Srimad Rupa Padamboja Duli Syam Janma Janmani. It means the same, translates the same. And that's the version that Dinabandhu recites. Here's a photograph of his Samadhi. Rupa Goswami Samadhi is in Vrindavan town by the side of the Radha Damodar temple. And when Srila Prabhupada was preparing to come to the West, seated in one of his little rooms at the Radha Damodar temple, he was feeling, as I mentioned, not qualified, not capable. But Rupa Goswami, he narrated this, not many times, but he narrated it to his disciples. And now it's a celebrated pastime. Rupa Goswami personally came and spoke to him and said, Maharaj, don't worry about anything. Go ahead and travel to the West and preach. Just preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the chanting of Hare Krishna, you'll be successful. I guarantee, because I will be right with you all the time. So we're deeply indebted to Rupa Goswami's support, encouragement, empowerment of, as he was empowered, he's empowering Srila Prabhupada, and we're indebted. So let us fall at the feet of Rupa Goswami. Here's the deity again of Radha Govinda at the Radha Kund. Same deity, different day, dressed a little differently. And again, same deity, dressed a little differently. Here's Govindaji in Jaipur. How many here have seen Govindaji in Jaipur? Okay. I hope you all get a chance to go someday. It's very, very wonderful. Not the whole. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, several hundred people come every morning for Mangal Arti. And you have to get there early, because if you don't get there early, you're way in the back. But if you get there early, you're right in the front. It's worth getting there early. And then there's different groups of people. Some sing this song in their, you know, their community, and some sing that song, and they're singing and music, and it's like really a concert going on, and very joyful. And everyone is it's wide open. There's not like you have to stand it. Everyone can see the way the deity is making themselves available to the audience, to the attendees. A little history about finding the deity, and I think we'll be finished. Rupa Goswami was given these two principal services: write books, establish the lost places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So one of those assignments included finding the deities. He found the deities were found, not exactly that he found them, but they were identified. Gopinath, Madan Mohan, but Govindaji was missing. So he searched everywhere. He read the texts. He asked Brahmins. He did everything. He knew. He prayed. Couldn't find Govindaji. So one day he was by the side of the river Jamuna, feeling very sad. I failed Lord Chaitanya. I haven't fulfilled his instruction. And as he was sitting there in that mood, a young village boy came and asked him, why you look so sad? He told them why, just revealed his heart. And the boy said, well, I know where Govindaji is. Come, I'll take you there. And he started describing, and off they went. He's up on this hill. And every evening around milking time, one cow comes and just deposits all of her milk on the same spot every day. It's because Govindaji is down below. She's doing Abhishek. And he took him to the spot, and sure enough, there was moist. And he said, you get some local people, and they'll help you excavate. Be very careful. He's a large deity, and I have to go now. And off he went. So sure enough, next day, some people were more than willing to help Rupa find the deity, and they started digging, and very large deity. And so the deity was installed, the Abhishek and offerings, etc., etc. There was no temple. It was just up on a hill. So a little grass hut was made, and they began worshipping. And after some time, on the right side, you see Radharani. There was no Radharani by the side of Govinda. So we mentioned yesterday there was a plan to have a deity by the side of Madan Mohan and a deity by the side of Govindaji. So the son of King Prataparudra made the arrangement to send two Radharanis. But the evening before the big festival installation, the pujari of Madan Mohan, who was to do the installation, had a dream, and in the dream, one of the Radharani said, I'm not Radharani, I'm a Lita. I belong by the side of Madan Mohan, so please place me there. So that's what they did. So here's Madan Mohan with Radha and Lalita, and Govindaji without Radha. And there's different versions, but the simplest version is the king of Orissa had a dream in which one of the deities in the Jagannath temple that had previously been worshipped by a lover of Radharani, but a previous king, when that Brahmin died, he had no sons, so the king attended his funeral. He's a celebrated man, and he brought the deity of Radharani back to place Radharani in the Jagannath temple. And over the course of time, Radharani became Lakshmi. But she wasn't Lakshmi, she was Radharani. So Radharani appeared in the dream of the king, that present king, and said, I'm not Lakshmi, I'm Radharani. I want to be by the side of Govindaji. You make the arrangement. And so he did. Big elephant procession all the way from Puri to Vrindavan. And Radharani was placed by his side. And you notice down by the right side of Govindaji, or to our left, there's a very small Krishna deity. The story behind that small Krishna deity was when Govindaji was found, Rupa Goswami wrote a letter to Lord Chaitanya saying, Haribo, we found Govindaji. And he was very, very, oh, Rupa Goswami, you fulfilled all my desires. And Kashishwara Pandit was with him, and he said, you go help Rupa Goswami maintain the worship of Govindaji nicely. And Kashishwara Pandit looked very sad because he didn't want to leave Lord Chaitanya. He didn't want to say no, but he didn't want to say yes. So Lord Chaitanya could understand his mood and said, I'll make this arrangement. This deity of Krishna, we'll call him Gaura Govinda. And when you're worshipping this deity, you'll see me. And so Kashishwara Pandit followed Lord Chaitanya's instructions. Gaura Govinda was placed by the side of Govindaji. He spent his whole life worshipping Govindaji in Gaura Govinda. And his samadhi is across the street in the whole samadhi area near the Govindaji temple. And of course, after some time, Govindaji and many of the deities of the Goswamis had to be taken to Jaipur for safety, so that's where they are today. And here's a close-up of the deities. Here's a close-up of the feet of Govindaji. Here's a close-up of the face of Govindaji. And a nice song about Rupa Goswami was written by the next in line, Narottam Das Thakur, a very celebrated song. Maybe some of you have heard it, maybe some of you have sung it. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. Very celebrated verse, very celebrated song. And that's it for this evening on the life of Rupa Goswami and his role in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, making them available to us through disciplic succession, translated by many of the acharyas and commented upon by many acharyas. A very foundational person in upholding and distributing Lord Chaitanya's message, the purpose of his appearing in this world, making the understanding of Krishna's pastimes properly understood instead of otherwise, because there's lots of otherwise out there. And we're very fortunate to have received those teachings and be in a position where we can help others understand those teachings just by distributing Prabhupada's books. Okay, so let's see if there's some discussion. We have a lot of people here this evening. It's Friday night. I'm surprised that children haven't been more restless than they've been. There we go. Said the magic words. Any thoughts or comments? You have something back there? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful presentation on Rupa Goswami. Maharaj, I'm trying to understand the chronology of when Rupa Goswami was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and when Sanatan Goswami was instructed. I remember yesterday you mentioned Sanatan Goswami was instructed for 2 months in Varanasi.
The chronology was first Rupa for 10 days, then Sanatan Goswami for 2 months. That's the chronology.
But at the end of Rupa Goswami's instructions, he went back to Jagannath Puri
At the end of Rupa Goswami's instructions, he went to Vrindavan, and he stayed for a month, and then he went to Puri, where he stayed with Lord Chaitanya for 10 months. Then when Lord Chaitanya sent him back to Vrindavan, he said, "You can now send your brother to come see me in Puri." But when Rupa got back to Vrindavan, Sanatan had already left for Puri. Okay? That's the
Okay.
chronology.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful class. Why one of the slide I remembered a particular thought. If you can share some more light on that.
Which?
Um, I was just picturizing everything. Jagannath, who is Krishna, remembering Radharani. In front of him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna, in the mood of Radharani, remembering Krishna. And he's chanting a verse which is understood only by Rupa.
Well, you got it a little jumbled. You want me to go back to those slides?
No, I was just remembering like Jagannath ji is Krishna himself.
Yes.
He is in the mood of Srimati Radharani.
Who
That's
is?
right, Jagannath.
No.
No, I mean he's remembering Radharani. That's why his eyes are in ecstatic mood, right?
He's remembering Vrindavan. He's Krishna in the mood of remembering Vrindavan.
Okay.
Krishna in the mood of remembering Vrindavan.
Because in one of the pastime it was that when Rukmini was seeing the glories of Vrindavan and Radharani, at that time Krishna's eyes.
I don't know what books you're reading. In the text in Skanda Purana, there's a very detailed description of the carving of and the worship of Lord Jagannath.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation is that Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra were in Dwaraka. The residents of Dwaraka wanted to know, what is it that Krishna has such attraction for Vrindavan? And they didn't know, they wanted to know. And Rohini was asked, can you say, Rohini, the mother of Balaram, she would, because she lived in Vrindavan.
Okay.
She said, well, I can do that, but you have to, if I start speaking about Vrindavan, Krishna's going to come and that'll get all interrupted.
Yeah.
So Subhadra said, no problem, I'll stand in the doorway. They won't enter. So she started speaking. And Krishna and Balaram came, and they were on either side, and their eyes got really big. And it was Rohini speaking about Krishna's activities in Vrindavan. Now, you heard it differently?
No, it's same as of now.
Okay, so now your question is?
So actually one of the Vrajvasi, when I met at that time, they said, when Rohini was speaking about Vrindavan, at that time when she started speaking about Srimati Radharani, Krishna heard the name of Radha and he went into ecstasy.
Well, that's a different version than what the book says. I mean, you can hear, that may be, a commentary or something, but that's not what the Skanda Purana says. She's describing Krishna's activities in Vrindavan.
Okay.
And Krishna has such attraction for Vrindavan. He came, and his eyes became big. Not specifically necessarily saying the word Radharani.
Okay.
Now I could go back and look at the text, but I've read the text a number of times, and there's no specific mention like that.
Okay.
And maybe it's a commentary by Acharya somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just local Brijbasi talk. I don't know.
Okay. So my point was that Jagannath ji is in the remembrance of Vrindavan. I mean, he is Krishna who is remembering Vrindavan and he is ecstatic.
Yes, he's feeling separation.
Yeah. And at the same time, in front of Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstasy of
Radharani.
Radharani, he is feeling ecstatic and dancing.
Yes.
So both same personality is thinking about each other and feeling ecstatic at the very same time.
No problem.
No, it's not. I'm not saying it's a problem. I was just
I'm not saying that
contemplating
you're
on.
saying it's a problem. I'm just saying it's not a problem. So your question is, it's wonderful, huh?
Yeah.
That's what. It's not a question. You're
Yeah.
just saying, "Wow, isn't this wonderful?"
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why he stayed in Puri. It's the same mood. Yeah, we have a Puri resident who wants to say something. Or clarification. Can we have the microphone up front here?
Maharaj, this pastime of this Lord like Krishna and Balram listening to Rohini's description,
yeah.
is that in Skanda Purana or Garga Samhita?
I don't know if it's in Garga Samhita. I don't know. Maybe or may not be. I don't know. I know that where it is. Okay. Because it's a whole, like King Indradumna and the whole thing. It's the carving of the deity.
Yeah, that part is there. This part was in Garga Samhita.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I can look.
Hare Krishna devotees. There are just 2 minutes left, Shyam Kun Prabhu. So that's why I just thought we finish that lecture. Is it okay?
Yeah, yes, bro. Finish it off. Yes,
Okay,
please.
okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
You got to speak into the microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
You have to turn it on too. There we go. It's high technology. You have to turn that little button.
Thank you, Maharaj. It's a wonderful session. And in this, whatever that sloka, like we need to hear, while we are chanting, we need to hear with mouth and we need to hear 1,000 times with ear and we need with heart. So my question is more related to the chanting and all. So whenever we are concentrating more on listening, so mind is more active, so it is more consciousness is not giving that rasamrita maybe for now. So maybe my question is more related.
Your question has me really confused, but the answer, the verse is really simple.
I understood the verse,
Oh, good.
Maharaj, but my question is more on the chanting. Normally I do. So if we are more consciousness on our chanting and more on listening on the only name, I mean Hare Krishna, then we are not feeling that much rasamrita. But if we are remembering and if we are going to heart, it's not too much concentrate, then we are getting that. So what is the best way to improve our things?
Follow Rupa Goswami.
Means
Hare Krishna devotees. So that particular class is ended. So if any devotees want to share anything from the lecture, today's, yesterday's, please share, devotees. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, a very
Hare
beautiful lecture, many things, but the most thing that most beautiful thing was that picture where Prabhupada and in front of him Rupa Goswami appears and tells him that he should go to US and start spreading the Hare Krishna mantra. That is what has been actually most of the devotees has been discussing about this, how he was empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself and how he in turn empowered Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya. And we are actually so fortunate to be into this line and hearing from all these elevated things. So that I found was the best part of today's lecture. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thanks a lot, Mataji. Thanks for bringing out that the fortune which we have. Yes, Chanakeshwar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Today's lecture, as Sharbari Mataji said, I like the same point. Along with that, when Prabhu Goswami was not able to find Radha Govindji is the deity, that time he was feeling separation while sitting on the bank of Yamuna. And there is a small boy came and informed about that he revealed that place and all these things. Then he started moving towards and finally with the help of that village people, he found that deity and started worshipping that. And that part I like very much, bro. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And the devotees we want to share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
I'll just go ahead if
Yes.
others are maybe still contemplating something.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Just a minute. Several points that I felt are important for me and for all of us to learn here. Maybe no particular order, but saying that when the devotee at the end he was asking questions about Jagannath being in the the way he phrased the question was that Jagannath is in the mood of Krishna in separation from Radha, and Maharaj corrected him, saying that he is Krishna in separation from Vrindavan. It's a subtle point and yet an important point for several reasons. One is we find in the character of Maharaj that the firm adherence to the truth and the firm adherence to the teachings of the parampara and what he has got through the books has made him so sharp that even minor variations or minor deviations from the scriptural canon can easily be fathomed by Maharaj. He just catches it just like that. And this is one example now, but throughout in various yatras that we go or in various other lectures, we see this very same aspect of Maharaj, that he catches on to it very quickly. These are subtle points which most of us gloss over. And especially if some of you have become public speakers, it becomes very easy at some point to gloss over the details or to just even sometimes misrepresent it in the to titillate the audience or to make the audience feel happy. But Maharaj's concern has been that I am just a bearer of the message of the scriptures and a bearer of the mood of Srila Prabhupada. So he's he, by these kind of actions, when he just corrects it, he's showcasing to us that we too need to follow on similar lines. That's one. Second, when the devotee asked a question about it, the way the question was phrased is, isn't it that this way here, etc. Like, in other words, there was there was a little bit of a loss of a decorum in asking the questions, but Maharaj was not. I mean, he didn't think anything much about it because he knew it's a new person as such. But it is for us who have been practicing for so many years to know that the questions, the mood of asking the questions is, I need an answer. That is nice. That is required. But it also has to give due reverence to the person who's answering the questions. Many times, it's not, I'm telling not with, we may not do with Maharaj, but we may do with others as such. The mood of asking the question is, I know this, isn't this right? This is what it is supposed to be. Sometimes it comes out that way. But what do we do in such a case? Is this from a cultural standpoint, is it wrong? No. People will say, I'm just telling the truth, right? I am expressing the truth honestly. It, so there is a way to express the truth too. Uh, the way to express would be with my limited and with my understanding, this is what it seems to be there. And can you please share light on it? The uncultured way of saying the same thing is, this is right. Why did that happen? In other words, it's just a small switch between the two statements. The fundamental message in one sense seems to be the same, but the culture of the heart in one case is the first case. With the way I said was that I have learned so much, but maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm right, and maybe it's incomplete. You please tell me. The second, the way in which I said was, this is right. Why is it right? In other words, one is very sure about himself. The world very much likes people who are very sure of themselves. They reward them, and by constantly receiving those rewards in spiritual life also, we become something like that. But spiritual life is to say that there is a truth, there is higher truth, and there is the highest truth, and they're all valid at different levels. Maybe what I know is the truth, it's valid at one level, but there is probably something much more to it. Please open the curtain of truth to me and make it come to my heart. That is the mood of questioning. So that's one other second point here. One third point was Kashishwara Pandit was requested to go to Vrindavan along with the deity of Gaura Govinda, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many times, and Kashishwara Pandit did not want to go to Vrindavan, leaving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the Lord of Vrindavan is there right in front of him. When the Lord is right there in front of his eyes and he is doing his pastimes, going somewhere else and contemplating on the pastimes internally is a much more arduous thing. So, in general, for sadhakas, but for exalted devotees, it is not. And therefore, we learn from this pastime that in our relationship with the Supreme Lord, there are many things which may appear to be not conducive for us now, but He has a plan, He has a wish, and we have to be open to that wish. And there is one way of being open to that wish. It is by the school of hard knocks. We we try many things and then we learn. And there's a Vaishnava way in which, if the Supreme Lord is present, we ask Him. If the devotees are present, we ask the devotees, and then take either major decisions in life, or even if it is a minor thing, we are very open to such people for even minor things in life. When we are open to it, in other words, our material conditioning makes us choose certain things in life based on our intelligence. I think this is right, I think that is right, and then we do. Spiritual training is, yes, this is these are the positives, these are the negatives, and therefore, and my own emotional state is this, or my own emotional need is this, and therefore I'd like to do it. But can you tell me what needs to be done? This is the mood in which we should go and approach somebody. They're saying, am I missing something? Would you like me to do something else differently? And it has to be in a very genuine way. And when we do it in that particular way, we bring in the blessings of the Supreme Lord and the Parampara in our lives. So that's the third part. The fourth part, which I should have said a little earlier, is when Maharaj said Jagannath is in the mood of Krishna yearning to go to Vrindavan. Many of you have deities of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra at home, or you may have a picture at home. And so we are getting access to the mood of Vipralamba Seva right here at our homes by worshipping Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. It is said that for most practicing devotees, the deities of Gaur Nitai or Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra are very helpful for us to progress further. And look at it, right? The highest mood that we want, we are getting by just seeing the bright, wide eyes of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra, the whatever we lack for in uh, yearning to connect to the Supreme Lord, if we open our eyes, He is there right in front of us, showing this is how you yearn for the Supreme Lord. We learn on a daily basis just by seeing those deities. That was another point. And one last point here. When we hear about Rupa Goswami, that he manifested the will of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and following him, we also learnt about Narottam Das Thakur speaking about the glories of Rupa Goswami. We see a pattern. We see one great devotee or a disciple, Rupa Goswami, has another great disciple, Narottam Das Thakur, and it takes one great devotee to recognize another great devotee. Each of you is also capable of becoming that great devotee. Do not short sell yourself and say, "Oh, I'm just so fallen. I can only do so much." It is imperative that all of us uh, come to the stage of having an intense greed for Krishna, that laulyam, that greed that I want to serve the acharyas in the disciplic succession. I want to serve devotees and following their mood. I want to be an assistant to them. It's imperative that we have it in our daily sadhana. Otherwise, we can be mechanical and we'll go nowhere. And what's the point of being mechanical? By being mechanical, we will never be able to be an instrument to give what our acharya has given to next folks. In other words, each of you has to become an acharya. You all have to become the next set of people who are going to guide others, because uh, that's the wish of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the storehouse of love that he has is given to everybody else. So you all taste and give the taste to others too. So don't stop and don't be happy with small things. Oh, I chanted 16 rounds. Nice. That's nice. I did this particular vrata. That's nice. But come close to the point where I was hearing from Varada Krishna Prabhu. Every moment am I surrendering more to Krishna. Every moment uh, am I deepening my connection with Krishna and the acharyas. So each of you have the potential for it. Please go for it.
Hare Krishna, Shankun Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Shankun Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm here, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I had a little confusion on the pastimes of Srinathji by Madhavendra Puri and Govinda Devji by Rupa Goswami. What Maharaj was mentioning, it was similar to Govind Srinathji deities. Is it the same or it's a different way
They're
that the
different.
deities?
Like we have Radha Govind, the Govind Dev deities are now in Jaipur. Srinath ji is in Nathadwar.
Udaipur, Udaipur. Huh?
Uh-huh.
But they
So
both were found same way that one Brajavasi comes and says that the deity is under there, or it is a different, or am I confused? Can you please help?
the deity of Srinath ji was found on top of Govardhan Hill by Madhavendra
Govardhan.
Puri.
Yes.
The deity of Govinda Dev is different here. But there's one interesting thing, Prabhu. You didn't ask this question, but just something interesting. The deity of Srinathji was found by Madhavendra Puri, and our Rupa Goswami and others didn't go. Madhavendra Puri was the Acharya in the lineage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he didn't go on top of Govardhan Hill. He didn't climb Govardhan Hill, although he's a very ancient deity, etc. And it so happened that in Puri, Vallabhacharya tried to speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about his own compositions, his own verses, and uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Why are you just trying to give your own interpretation? Already Sridhar Swami has given. Somebody who doesn't follow Sridhar Swami, I consider him to be like not having a Swami or a prostitute." Like that, he was very harsh words were spoken, and then finally Vallabhacharya uh, was assuaged by others. All those things happened. Years later, the followers of Vallabhacharya took care of the deity of Srinathji here in Govardhan, and his son was Vithalnath. And when the Mughal rulers and others came to destroy the places, Vithalnath took the deity from the top of the hill and brought him to his house. It was then that Rupa Goswami went and had darshan of Srinathji.
Oh, awesome.
So that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Nitin here.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for sharing, Prabhuji. That was, I think, very insightful in terms of, how you picked up the way he was asking question. And I also felt the same way that there was subtle, many things are missing, which you pointed out. And Maharaj was very patiently listening, though he knew where it is going. And we all do that, but thanks for pointing that out. It was really nice. So the second thing, Prabhuji, I want to bring up is the comment you made, right? So when we are, I would say preaching, but talking about Krishna, and especially people who are newer to the organization and know something from their past, which is not aligned to what we know or what scriptures say, just WhatsApp or whatever their source of knowledge is. So is it? So the question is, how much should we focus on correcting them versus focus on the message which we want to give, right? In the sense that this is the message rather than subtle, I mean, not subtle, I don't want to use, but other than the details they're talking about, right? That this may happen or this not, or should we initial phases focus on that this is the message, but details, just tell them that details are different. You may have got it wrong, but this is the key message. So, how you balance the accuracy of certain facts versus the message?
The balancing actually happens much before we meet those newcomers, new devotees, anybody there. The balancing happens during our japa and during the time we do seva. And if when we are sincere at that point in time, the reason we get people who ask such questions is in one of the reasons is to deepen our connection to Paramatma in the heart. If when we receive such questions, if the thought process that goes is, how should I handle this person? Should I give him the details, or should I just give the overall flow of the message, etc.? We are working with our own strength in our own mind. A preacher doesn't work with his own strength. It is at that point in time when the question is asked that the preacher yearns and seeks the blessings of Paramatma in the heart and his Guru. My dear Lord, what do you want me to give? I have these things here, and maybe there is something else. Please help me. How can I be an instrument to help him? And in that prayer, maybe something will come out. Maybe 99% of the time, nothing comes out. But it is actually a sadhana for the preacher to pray. Most important here is not the question. The most important is to pray for the preacher. The inner mood of the preacher, that it is not he who is speaking, but it is the Supreme Lord and his own Guru or whoever is guiding him who is speaking through his mouth. He's just an instrument for them. Number one. Number two is recognizing that although I am so fallen, Krishna is very kind. Even in my heart, he can come, he can reciprocate. And with that confidence, when we pray and we receive the guidance, then slowly, one by one, all that we have read, something will come up that's of value. So these are the preliminary things which have to be done before answering. And it's just a matter of a few seconds time that we have. And in that few seconds, we need to have that intensity, which is very tough. That is why the practice of that intensity happens when we are having this 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 1 hour, 45 minutes of chanting for 16 rounds. We practice there so that when we speak, it comes out much more naturally. Otherwise, we are just uh, trying to use our intellectual faculties, not our spiritual faculties. A preacher is not an intellectual. I mean, he needs to be a little intellectual, but his core value is the spiritual value. That's one. Second, over a period of time, when you when we speak in this, when we do our sadhana in this mood, it so happens that as the person is speaking, the, the speaker or the preacher begins to understand by the mercy of the Supreme Lord or the Paramatma in the heart. He connects to the Paramatma of the other person to figure out what is the actual thing that is being addressed. People sometimes ask questions, but what they are actually wanting, either they themselves might not know or they are unable to put it in words. Sometimes it is helpful to ask questions, but always go with not the verbatim words which a person asks. What is the, we should always go with what is the intention and the mood which a person asks. That's more important, and address that point first, because by just answering the question we can score some brownie points, but if we address his mood or her mood, it's even more better. That's the second thing. Then comes the third thing, that some people are so conditioned that unless and until they see an a high level of intellectual capability in the answer, they cannot go further. So maybe just to bring them on, to bring them into devotional service, we have to get into the details. It is not necessary in the final scheme of things, but to just attract that person, we may have to give details. And for others who are very much progress in the devotional life, we can even say, I maybe like what Maharaj said, I don't know these details, I will look into it. That kind of an answer actually suits a very advanced devotee sometimes. It also suits a beginner devotee to make him feel that this is what humility is like. So is there one answer to it? No. The answer varies according to how Paramatma inspires you. That's all.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the angle of, having spiritual than using your intelligence. I think that is where, in the beginning, I many times mm, go that way. And it's also good learning for me to pray at that point. So thank you, Prabhuji. I think it's a really
Thank you.
good actionable items for me. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for this.
Thank you, Shankar Prabhu, for wonderfully giving those points from Maharaj's lecture. Definitely, all of them are taking it.
Sharbari Mataji has something to say, Prabhu.
Shabri Mataji, you wanted to say something? Or?
Yes, basically, I
Yes.
wanted to appreciate Shamkun Prabhu for what all details you gave. And in fact, Nitin Prabhu has also already nicely covered what we should focus on and how each one of us should focus or try to progress in our spiritual journey. So, wanted to appreciate that. And one small question I had, Prabhu, you mentioned about a particular school where people who want to progress in their spiritual life, when they seek answers for certain small problems in their life, you mentioned some name. Can you just repeat that name? School of something you mentioned, Prabhu?
Oh, I meant that some people learn by the school of hard knocks. That is by experience. Like life
Okay,
throws,
okay, okay.
that's it. We try things and it fails, and then we learn. That's it.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. And one other question I had from today's class, that was the Rajavashi who took to find out that Govindaji deity. Was he anyone or he was just someone sent by Krishna? How should we interpret that?
Uh, I mean, I have to come back to you on this, but I vaguely remember that is Krishna himself.
Okay, okay. That is what
But
I wanted to know.
yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Pranavalla Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dhanavana. Thank you for elaborating the mood of Maharaj and how the mood we have to maintain. So the lessons to learn. And one question I have, Prabhu, this Vallabha, the brother of Sanatana and Rupa Goswami, and Vallabhacharya are both same Prabhu or different?
Oh, no. The one is Sri Vallabha and the
Okay.
other is Vallabhacharya. Two different people.
Okay, Prabhu.
This Vallabhacharya, I mean, I can ask later also. Can you please elaborate on Vallabhacharya Prabhu, how he came into
Oh,
Parampara?
oh, he's on a different parampara. He's that Vishnu Swami parampara, Prabhu.
Okay.
I'll send some links if possible on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So anyone else has any final comments, or shall we end for today?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. I got some points for my questions yesterday also. Thank you for all those descriptions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Prabhupada ki jai.